Ciao e benvenuta tra noi, sono qui ad intervistare Lysa Comfort, una delle maggiori esponenti del settore delle unghie. È praticamente l'esperta dell'utilizzo della fresa in modo professionale e soprattutto sicuro. È la persona che ha fondato, diciamo, praticamente le competizioni, tantissime cose. Lysa Comfort, anche la proprietaria di un noto marchio di ricostruzione unghie. Per cui do il benvenuto a Lysa, welcome Lysa.
Grazie Roberta.
Sono veramente felice di fare questa intervista perché innanzitutto Lysa Comfort è la mia mentore, quindi la persona a cui mi sono ispirata per il mio lavoro, ok? Quindi andiamo a conoscere meglio Lysa Comfort iniziando dalla sua esperienza nel mondo nell'industria, quindi nel settore delle unghie. How is your experience in this field?
Vast. My experience in the nail industry begins before nails had an industry. It goes back when we were really not yet an industry because we only had 2 brands of product. So I began doing nails when I was 15, a long time, and I've been doing nails for 35 years on the same client still. So I have the opportunity to do many different aspects of the industry still today, but my career really is strong after I become an educator. And that has been for 26 years. And my contributions are from anything in the world of electric filing. This is really where I had my most experience and what opened my doors and gives me really the opportunity to work with all of the best artists in the world. So I worked with many companies like EasyFlow, and my mentors were Tom Holcomb, who isn't around, and Danny Hale, the owner of Harmony. I've had the opportunity to manufacture and invent many objects and items that we need for our industry. But most important, really, I think, is my contribution for competition. And the time I've spent invested in helping our industry have a strong, respectful judging organization called INJA, which has been really my greatest accomplishment for our industry.
Infatti, come avete sentito, come ha detto adesso Lysa, è veramente nel nostro settore da più di 25 anni, ha inventato tantissime cose che probabilmente non sappiamo e quindi volevo farvi capire veramente quanto è stata il fulcro del nostro settore, proprio perché si è trovata all'interno dell'industria, proprio di dove vengono prodotti i prodotti della ricostruzione unghie e praticamente ha visto proprio tutta l'evoluzione, quindi adesso gli andiamo a chiedere proprio quanto è cambiato il nostro settore da più o meno quando è iniziato fino ad oggi. How is changed the nail industry in these last years?
Well, it's changed greatly since I started teaching, of course. That's been 25 years, so just to take it from that point, I would say the greatest change really has been the growth, of course, that we had so much growth in our industry. The innovation of new products that came onto the market in the last decade has been great, and we're seeing the industry grow because there's more opportunity for new companies, and this brings a lot of great change, but it also will bring some change that can create conflicts or set back our industry with bad techniques or chemicals that can cause problems. So I would like to think we've made great progression for the most part, and in some areas we've actually gone backwards a little bit, but for the most part we are making great progress. In this last couple of years I'm seeing changes.
Yes.
A lot of great changes, but the innovation has been comparable to, you know, the IT world and the growth that it has. We've experienced the same flow.
The technology also.
Everything has, the technology is extremely advanced and compared to when I began doing nails or just began teaching. It's changed dramatically.
Right. Ok, quindi il nostro settore è cambiato tantissimo, come ha detto qualcosa è andata un pochino indietro, la tecnologia ci ha portato avanti, ma adesso vediamo veramente dove è che siamo andati un pochino indietro. So you mentioned that we go back with something, okay, in the nail industry. Where we go back? What happens in this?
That's a good question. So I've seen many procedures that are taking us into a really dangerous place where we're starting to see problems that we had never really seen before. So when I say that we've been set back, I don't necessarily mean that we went back to the way we were before. I mean more that we've been brought back to even before that point, because now we're creating new problems that are preventing us from progressing properly. Mainly in the need to constantly bring these new ways of doing things or new procedures to try and satisfy the demands of the customers, instead of taking control of the profession and saying, this is how we need to perform our services safely. We're allowing our industry, our customers, to tell us the way we need to be working. So that's the first thing. I've seen this change of command. Instead of us as professionals doing as leaders what we should be doing, we're allowing the influence of social media and bad influence to dictate it to us how to do our job. Okay, so that's the first thing. But
and when we go forward?
When we go forward is when we learn that we have a responsibility as professionals to uphold a standard and to have integrity in presenting what is safe and what is healthy and what is correct, instead of doing what is trendy or what looks correct or what looks better. And that is not always an easy battle, because vanity is very strong and will always win out over what is the healthier way to do it. And this is never been the course of humanity. We always have vanity to push us more so than health and preventative measures, you know.
Yeah, right.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so how can the nail professional can help to preserve the integrity?
There are so many things that they can do. You know, I think the most important is that they follow professional, safe procedures in the salon, and that they don't do things that can cause damage and infection. And unfortunately today, most of the techniques that I see that are being done in the salon, this is my number one concern with what I see. So I would like very much that people learn about the real nail anatomy, and that they take the time to learn how to use the chemicals safely and properly. Also, they need to remember that we control the outcome, and that if they continue to allow their customers to dictate what we need to do, that eventually we will lose the right to do these to perform our services.
Right.
So we all have a responsibility to maintain professionalism and not allow our customers to determine the correct way to do the procedures.
Yeah. Infatti ha utilizzato una parola molto importante, responsabilità, quella che ogni onicotecnica deve avere riguardo il lavoro che sta facendo, riguardo la cliente, quindi la salute della cliente, per cui bisogna essere molto molto responsabili e professionali per quanto riguarda il nostro lavoro, non prenderlo assolutamente sotto gamba.
Alright, using your products responsibly, just so you know, doesn't always mean safely. It also means not to overuse your product. We are using chemicals that are not good for the environment. We need to take the responsibility to not overuse our product and not to do all of these services that waste product. I think that I find we waste way too much product, and it's time that we start to use our product responsibly so that we're careful about what we dump into the environment. That's also important.
Very important.
Yes.
Responsabilità a 360 gradi, ok? Quindi dobbiamo capire realmente quello che stiamo facendo, avere consapevolezza del nostro lavoro e niente, quindi io ringrazio Lysa Comfort per questa bellissima intervista. Thank you Lysa Comfort for your experience and for your contribution of this industry.
Thank you. It's really my pleasure and I hope to continue for quite some time.
Ok, quindi ci vediamo alla prossima e buona formazione. Bye bye.
Ciao.